Okay. Okay, so first a few words about who I am. As I've been introduced, I'm a high school teacher of mathematics and physics in Milano, and I developed a series of educational video games to make math and physics more engaging for students at an high school level. And I just want to highlight a thing that if you will ever skim through my website or try the games, you will see pop out these Metano Leone Industries, which actually does not exist. Metano Leone is just the anagram of Enea Montoli. It was just a joke for my students, but then some people asked me if I am the CEO of this company. So there is no such thing as Metano Leone Industries. So what I'm going to tell you about now is I would say an application of game-based learning and an application of game-based learning and a combination with storytelling. As you probably know, game-based learning is an active learning technique that basically uses games to improve learning. And it is especially useful, I think, for math and physics because as a methodology that actually develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills, and also it boosts engagement a lot. So I developed this suite of serious games or serious video games, and I use several programming tools. You can see them here. But the most interesting thing that I want to share with you is that all the games are online. They're available on this website, and there is also an English page for them. And all the games are available free of charge. They require no installation at all. They can be played on various platforms, and you can use any device that you want, from a computer to a smartphone. And I wanted the games to be like that because they have to be accessible to everyone, to every students and teachers, independently from their backgrounds, both economical or societal backgrounds. That's the way I think education should be: free and accessible for everyone. So the project or all the Renovatio Quest project share a common main character, a common protagonist, which is Neshonomen. That in Latin means the name is Neshonomen, and in Latin means I do not know the name, and is a young boy living in the 28th century in a world that has been destroyed by global warming. And there is a three kind of games, and the first one is called Nightmares of Nesho. And this game is set in the dream world of the protagonist, that is of course populated by nightmares about math and physics. And the main feature of this game is that you can select a certain level, and for each level correspond a certain topic in math or physics. So let's say that you want to play with the goniometric equation or parabolic motion, then you select the level and just play. There is a second kind of game, which is the RPG saga that unfolds over 5 episodes. You are seeing just 3 here because these are the ones that are available for now. And they are 5 episodes because it is 1 episode for each year of high school. And here the narrative component is strong because it tells the story of Nesho from his hometown to a mysterious foundation, and then if you play, you will see what actually will happen. As you can see, one of the games is in English, so it has been fully translated, so it is available also for people that do not speak actually Italian. And then there is another game, which is a digital game book that explores something more lateral, some side stories from the same universe. And this also can be played in English because since it is a game book, you just need to make Google translate, not Google, but the browser translate the text for you, and it works fine. I tried that. So this was just an overview, and I want to give you some example of how the game actually work. So I will give a free example. So this is a level from the Nightmares of Nature, and this level focuses on introducing the students to the principle of the scientific method. So the formulation, the observation of a phenomena, then hypothesis, and then trying to deriving a general theoretical law. Here the player is stuck in a maze, and the player needs to get out. But he has some help that is constituted by 3 clue videos that show a robot navigating through a labyrinth and getting out of this labyrinth. But the labyrinth in which the robot is moving obeys the same rules of the maze in which the player is stuck. So by observing how the robot escapes, so it's like observing something in nature, the player, so the student, can try to infer the laws that actually are governing the labyrinth in which he is in. And the interesting thing is that trying to escape is like making an experiment and see if the rules that he has inferred actually works or not. The main result here that is interesting is that most of the students are able to get out and infer the right laws. But most interesting is that a small group of students always find different laws that are slightly different from the ones they designed. And this is very interesting because if you think on scientific research, sometimes you have 2 models that can explain the same phenomenon. Okay, for example, if you think at light, with light, there are some light phenomena that can be explained by both wave optics or geometrical optics. Another example comes from the 4th episode of the RPG saga. Here, the player finds himself in a situation where he needs a vital item to progress to the story. Then to obtain the vital item, he has to participate to an auction, and in order to get there, he needs to gain the confidence of some shady characters and also to have some money to participate to the auction. So long story short, he is now in a place where there are some illegal fights between people, and he has to bet in order to win some money. The interesting thing is that in order to bet and then to win, the player has to calculate the probability in order to evaluate which player is the best one. So interacting with all the NPCs here, he understands things like, the first fighter wins 50% of the time when in his hometown it's raining. So the player can go consult the weather chart and see that 5 days out of 7 is actually raining. And then he can calculate the posterior probability. And this is something that the students actually enjoy a lot. I know that it's not the best thing to bet on illegal fights, but that's for the sake of math here. So I think it's safe enough to do that. And the last example is set in this mysterious Mandelbrot Island. And here there is a group of pirates that absolutely want to find the 5 missing pieces of a treasure that has been buried in this island. Well, the old pirates lore says that pirates used to dig and then bury part of the treasure at the crossing point of 2 lines on which they were actually working. And fortunately, you have the equation of these lines. And so this is basically about solving linear systems of equation, and which is a topic that is fundamental in math, but students actually see it like a little bit abstract and annoying. So transforming this topic into a treasure hunt, usually I think that they find this more interesting than just doing the exercise on a piece of paper. So these were some examples, and you may are thinking how these games are integrated into educational context. So usually they can be used for different purposes. So as introduction, review, or consolidation of some topic. And I use them in the classroom to have some interactive learning experiences or as a homework assignment. And we will discuss later this thing about the homework assignment and what are the advantages of using them as homeworks. The important thing is that all the games have been designed for an individual gameplay, but I let the students play individually or in small group, and usually they prefer to play in small group. So there is still one player, but they interact with each other, they form group in order to be able to solve faster all the problems and the situation on the games. And why they want to be faster is because the game score is directly converted into a grade, which they all are, of course, interested in having the higher possible. But it is also a final ranking that culminates at the end of the year in an award ceremony where the top performing students receive real prizes like science popularization books, sci-fi novels, vintage video game console, and so on. And this is this part of the year that they actually prefer because they are so engaged in seeing who is actually winning or who has won. And now I think it is interesting to share with you what is the learning and teaching effectiveness of these games actually. So these are some numbers from which I derive what I'm going to tell you. I know for sure that almost 28,000, I had almost 28,000 unique visits on the websites. And since I've given several training courses in Italy, I know that more than 50 teachers and about 5,000 students have played the game. So what I'm going to tell you comes from my experience or experience of other teachers in the classroom or the testimonials from other students and so on. So the first thing is related especially to homeworks is the increase in students' engagement. You surely know that homework assignment, especially in math and physics, can be viewed as tedious, demanding, and often they lead to no submission or late submission. We have experienced that with this method, a lot of students actually they keep on playing the game in order to rise the score and so the grade, but they also submit their homework well ahead due dates, which is something like a miracle. And here you can see an email that is written in Italian, but this actually to show you what I'm telling you. I launched one of the video game on 26 December, 2:17 p.m. And a student replied to me that he has been playing, it's 1938, the time here. So he has been playing 5 hours. So he has been doing math and physics for 5 hours, 26 on December, so during the Christmas break. And this is something that I think is astounding from a teacher point of view, because we all know that during the Christmas break, they typically don't touch a book. So imagine him doing math for 5 hours. It's very interesting. Also, another important point is that we noticed while playing and while using the games with the student, it is that it is a very inclusive educative environment. In particular for students with dyslexia or dyscalculia or ADHD. You know that for these students, the traditional teaching methods can sometimes prove to be difficult, ineffective, or even discouraging. And so you typically need to use some dispensatory or compensatory measures for them. Well, when they are playing these games, we didn't notice any difference from other students. And I also have some students with learning difficulties that placing the top 5 in the final ranking. So this is a very interesting point. And also what is interesting is the fact that it's the scalability of the project. I've seen this with the training courses that I gave. It is very easy since the games are all online, and so a teacher can just go online, learn how to play and to use in the classroom, and then use with the students. However, there is a major, I would say, hurdle in the adoption of this method, and I think that is related to the fact that these are video games. So there is still this, I would say, misconception about video game that they are harmful, they will cause a person to become a mass murderer, and they can foster mass homicides. I don't know why, but this is a significant wall to break in terms of what teachers usually think about video games. And I'm telling you this not as a gamer. I mean, I played video games when I was in high school, but now I'm just developing video games, not playing, except for my ones. So moving to the end, this is some future work that I think it will be implemented in the next months and years. And for sure, I intend to expand the portfolio for the games, and especially the topics, or maybe moving to different kind of games, moving out from the two-dimensional and go maybe to a third dimension, but still keeping in mind that the games have to be accessible even if you do not have a last generation smartphone. So I will need to keep in mind this compromise. Then a second point that I think that would be very interesting is to start to collect data in a more systematic way, maybe through the sub-administration of standardized surveys, because if you have quantitative results, they will support better what I'm telling you now, and they maybe can be a powerful tool to destroy the skepticism about video games in general. And the last aspect is the full translation to English. Now there are some games that are in English, and it will take time because it's just me doing all of these. But the main problem here, the main challenge is not in terms of the process of translation, but in the fact that the curricula from the Italian school system are, of course, not aligned with the one from the Anglophone countries. While it cannot be a problem for Nightmares of Nation, where you have just a single level for each topic, it may become a major issue for the RPG saga, where you have a story and where all the problems are deeply integrated. So that was it. I want to thank you for your attention, and also thanks all the people that actually participated with GoFundMe campaign to make my participation here actually possible. Thank you.